right, fam. Listen, I hope we can get through this today. Yesterday's Patreon show did well, so I am hopeful. I am hopeful, right? I think they be throttling things, but I am hopeful. And if I'm hopeful for no good reason, y'all can let me know. Anyway, fam, listen, hit the like, hit the subscribe if you have not done that. We're going to get right into it. This is part 2 of the first show about crypto and how they have been using and abusing this idea of crypto to build generational wealth. Let's rewind. Last week, y'all remember they had those shows like that? Last week on Saved by the Bell. Last week on Different Strokes. Y'all remember that? So last week, in this case, Wednesday, we were talking about what happened. And we were talking about specifically, there were a series of shows 5 years ago that I did. Antonio Moore did some shows too about, hey, wait a minute, you are a group of people, we as a group of people have no wealth, and we're jumping into something in terms of crypto that is unregulated. We're jumping into something in terms of crypto that is not only unregulated, but it is in favor of people who have wealth and can diversify and you don't know what you're doing. They got you on here putting your wallets, these digital wallets, and people was getting hacked, and oh my God, I woke up and all my money was gone. And I didn't know what happened to the monies. And then I had people telling me, smart people, these were not all just crazy, stupid people. I'm putting some up here. These were people who had brains telling me, no, Yvette, you just don't understand. And what you see is that it all came out of desperation. So, if there's one thing I have to say that we have to do as a group of people, we have to be careful about how we allow people to manipulate us based on our desperation. People know you got all these trap hood. I'm a trap investor. Yeah. I did 15 years in the penitentiary in the back swamps of Mississippi, Louisiana, and now I just be telling NFL players how to get it, and you can get it too. We gonna come out of this, right? They tell you and it make it sound. Let me tell you one thing. If somebody tells you something that's too good to be true, it probably is. See what they're doing, and this is. Let's go back to the rewind. Last time on the show, we talked about how there are a series of videos coming up now. One of them had Tony the Closer, then there was another one entitled "Scam Your Leisure." Allegedly, it wasn't me, but I was listening to it. I was in there listening to it, and they were basically talking about how they promised people you can invest. You can do this, but then at the same time, they say, we're not an investment company, we're a media company. Now, when you say that, I have my listening ears on. When you say that, that means to me, you want to say to everybody, and what you're signaling is, I have no responsibility for what the people tell you about what to do. Right? And then when you get to the allegations, there are allegations that I did not make about the little man that DJ Envy was in with. He's doing some of the same things, allegedly. Preying on people's desperations. You get there and I paid my money to get into the festival, right? I paid my money to be here, right? And then you get in there and they say, hey, they give you basic information. I remember about 20 years ago, somebody dragged me to a conference one time, had the most basic information in the world. Well, you too can invest in a stock. You log on to schwab.com and you pick the stock. Child, I am not 5. What is this? That's what they do. And then they, allegedly, this is what I heard on the streets, on the YouTube streets, what they're doing is doing affiliate stuff. So once you get there, they say, hey, sign up to my mentorship. Mentorship, $5,000, $10,000, whatever it is. And what you figure out is that everybody is making money off you. This is not an investment. Everybody's making money off you because you're an easy mark because you're desperate. Let me tell you something. The same people who say all this awful stuff about Christianity, right? Oh, they talk real bad about Christianity. Oh, you believe in the big daddy in the sky. All these awful things they say about Christianity, right? Right. And I'm not saying you can't have criticisms against any religion. I don't care what it is. But the same people who say that have as their religion this idea of building wealth that makes no sense. Right? So you can talk about, oh, Christianity, I don't want to be bothered with that. That you believe in something. But then you want to believe that you're going to make how much money and when? You believe in this guru who has sold you in the faith of capital that you can make money in this kind of way. You believe in a certain kind of God thing yourself. It's just in the form of capital. Right? This is the same thing. You all believe in scammers. Most of these, when we talked about a lot of the stuff that we talked about on this show, one of the things I pointed out is that a lot of these things, whether you talk about a lot of these people doing these Indiegogos or whatever the case may be, or you talk about people who do these quote unquote investments or whatever, these are funnels. These are sales funnels. These are not funnels intended for you to make money. These are funnels intended for you to buy into their program. Hey, now if the program has a very high success rate, that's a different thing. Right? But that's not usually the case. It's usually intended to sell you on a dream, right? So, okay, so what makes you any different? Oh, you believe in the big daddy in the sky. Well, to me, that's not what Christianity is. But so okay, what's the difference? Okay, you criticize, you believe in this big pie in the sky, believe that like you can sign up for this thing and this crypto, and all of a sudden you're going to be a millionaire. You're going to shortcut everything. You're going to get around the man. Okay, so let me just bring up something that we were talking about. We were talking about Coinbase and a few other things last show, and I brought up this thing, and I want to bring it up one more time just to give context if you may not have been here. Nearly half of all black and white investors report investing in something they did not fully understand. I want you to understand that this is extremely dangerous for you. It's dangerous for any investor to invest in something that they don't understand. It's more dangerous for you because you have nothing to lose. You are wealthless. And so a lot of them say what DJ Envy allegedly said. He said, well, I tell people to do their own research. I come to you to do the research. Right? You can't have these little sites up. Listen, one of the things I try to do here, because this is a political advocacy, we also have the foundation, but I pride myself on doing the research and bringing it to you. And saying, this is my view. Here is the research. And now, if you think it's wrong or whatever, I want you to go and research and you can dig deeper. But I don't come here as an expert and then tell you to do your research. That's a con. When somebody brings you into a room and they tell you that you're going to be in a room full of experts who are going to help you understand something, then they tell you to do your own research, then why am I here? You brought this man into the room. Listen, people got to stop platforming people who are con artists and then saying, allegedly, and then saying, well, I told them to do their own research. No, when you give somebody a platform, that's one of the reasons I rarely do shows with other people. It's one of the reasons, unless it's like a mainstream media outlet, that's one of the reasons you rarely see me even on a platform with other people. And people say, oh, Yvette don't want to go do that. No, I don't want to be on a platform where somebody has turned out to be a scammer or who decides to be a charlatan or who decides to run off with the video and misconstrue it. I don't want that. I'm very careful about who I show my face with. I have learned that you can show your face with people, and then I had somebody try to do, I told y'all this, try to do a video with me on the fly. We're at some kind of event, and they're having a what you call those things? Reception beforehand. And it's a conservative. He said, let's debate right now on video. I'm not debating with you, sir. I'm not getting your YouTube views up, and now you can use the video however you like because you want to make some quick content. Please allow me to eat my shrimp cocktail by myself and take your little phone somewhere. No. I'm not appearing on video with you. I don't know what your deal is. I can go back home, turn on the TV, and find out you Chester the molester. I'm not finna be. I don't know enough to share a platform with a lot of people. I assume if you're mainstream that there has been some vetting there, and that's not my responsibility if I go on CNN, ABC, or MS, whatever the case. If I go on there, it's not my responsibility. You should have vetted this. You're a mainstream. I'm not gonna go on all these little podcasts, right? Like, I'm not gonna go on all these little people. Hey, I don't know anything about you, sir. And I'm not, ma'am. But they're platforming, these other people are platforming people and saying, hey, like a lot of other people we know, I'm just here to make you think. Nah, you got to do better than that. And we have to start requiring that people do better than that. And that's why I think this is a great time in like ADOS media history that we are actually starting to hold people accountable for platforming people that turn out to be and you listen, they're doing affiliate links. They're here to play. Everybody's been talking about everybody's been talking about generational wealth, and it just says something to me that our own people, it makes me very sad. Our own people have used the language of generational wealth and closing the wealth gap to hurt our own people. We have used the language of that to hurt each other. right? To scam each other instead of saying, hey, let's get together and do X, Y, and Z. And let's get together and do some politics and carve out industries for ourselves. Like, you're not doing business when you're selling flashcards. You're not doing business when you're taking advantage of somebody in your community. That is your brother. That is your sister. You are not doing business. When you do that, you are a scam artist. And instead of us getting together, we have said, well, let's use the language because that language really resonates. That language that ADOS never been using, it really resonates. I'm going to use it to build. I'm going to use it to build a juke joint. I'm going to use it to do whatever. I'm going to use it to do a real estate thing and talk about generation. I am going to play on the heartstrings of my own people. Right? I'm going to pull on that. I'm going to manipulate my own people in such a way that they don't understand that they're being manipulated. So, it's really, really unfortunate. And let me just read another, and this is from this article. Let me just to review. This is from this Ariel Schwab Black Investor Survey. So let me go back here. When asked about anticipated investment returns, more than 1 in 4 black investors, 27%, expected outsized annual returns of 20% or higher. Whew. And 19% thought they could get rich quick through investing. This is a get rich quick scheme. And see, this is when people say, oh, Yvette, you say we don't understand investing. We don't understand investing because we've been wealthless. It's not because we're stupid. It's not because there's anything wrong with us. You don't understand something that you haven't been doing because you don't have the money to do it. And you can't do it. It's very difficult for you to do it when you need your money. So when you need your money, you're like, I'm gonna get in. It's gotta work. You be up at night checking that thing. You be up at 2 o'clock in the morning just clicking. Let me see if it came up from this time 2 hours ago, because that means when you do that, I know some of y'all, that means you don't have the money to invest. This is compared to only 12% of white investors who anticipated returns of 20% or higher, and 7% who cite immediate returns as a reason to invest. Black investors under 40 have even higher expectations. Why? Why, ladies and gentlemen? Because they have less. Have even higher expectations, with 34% expecting returns of more than 20% compared to 15% among white investors of the same age. When you are desperate, it is very easy for people to take advantage of you. This year is crypto. I remember when it was the MLM scams. How many of y'all remember that? It was I'm not gonna say any names, but it was all kind of little companies that were out here who were selling you got to get 5 people under you, and then they get tired people under them. This is the pyramid schemes and stuff. That's what it was before. Every so often, and it's almost in tandem. So we tell you, hey, you don't have the money for X, you have wealth, and instead of saying, okay, let's go get the wealth, let's go make up for the injustice, you run with the scammer. You run to an MLM, or you run with the crypto. 5 years ago, we said this is going to be a problem. And I played one video the last time, which was 5 years ago, but I found another one, which was also 5 years ago. And I want to play that one really quick as well. Let's see if I can get this to play. Play. Hold on one second. Bitcoin, you have 14,000. I don't even know if this is right. I'm just putting it up here to disprove how stupid people are. If you would have invested Litecoin, you'd have had 50K. If you'd invested in this, you'd have. They're giving us all this stuff that, like, if you had invested in it, you would have all this money, right? So, like, it's like, don't you feel stupid, Yvette? If you had done this, you would have all this money. Understand, I don't feel stupid at all. And I'm going to show you why you should feel stupid. Because here's the thing. First of all, there are over 1,000, like 1,800 there. It was 1,300. It was 800, like cryptocurrencies. So what you're telling me is that in some world, I should have understood which of these cryptocurrencies was going to make money, and I should have invested in those cryptocurrencies. How would I have that knowledge? How would you have that knowledge? With hundreds of cryptocurrencies. And what you have to do too in terms of crypto, you have to invest. And they don't tell you this because the people talking about crypto don't understand investing, and they don't understand cryptocurrency. They just talking because they ain't had no access to wealth. They just talking. So what you would have had to do was invest in a lot of different cryptocurrencies in hopes that one of these cryptocurrencies, or 2 or 3 or 4, would be the ones that were going to be good ones. And then you would have to hedge one crypto against the other. So if one of the ones that you had, That's 5 years ago. Like at a certain point, we have to deal with our desperation and just talk about the fact that we're learning too slow. Listen. This is you can't learn this slow and be okay, because even and now everybody's, what was this, like 20? Let me see what the date is on this. Hold on a second. This is 2023, February of 2023. People started saying what we already knew. How crypto failed black investors. Yes, but we told you that this is what it was going to be. Yes, we told you that. And part of the way it failed black investors is it got a bunch of people, it got a bunch of black celebrities. So when people get mad, oh, I don't understand. Nobody is saying that you can't be a black or ADOS celebrity. We're not saying that. What I am saying, and what I have always said to you, is that you can't listen to people who make money off of ads and brand deals. In terms of your politics are a different kind of politics. So there were a lot of celebrities who came out front in terms of crypto, and some of them called it. This is your chance, this is your opportunity, and this should be a lesson about, go and if you want to see LeBron on the playing court, knock yourself out, have a ball, have a blast. That's what he's there for. But don't be involved in any kind of social engineering. If you want to drink a Sprite because you like Sprite, not because I remember when Kobe came out and he had the Sprite. No, that's not a reason. And I know it's hard because America has us hooked into this thing and has us believing that our plight is kind of somehow tied to black celebrities, and these celebrities have our best interests at heart. And the truth be told, they may not know even what they're doing. Like, what's the running joke about how LeBron James has the book open and he's never reading the book, right? They may not know. Who knows? But you have to know, because your life is at stake. And so you have to know, and you have to decide, you know what, we got to do politics. This stuff right here, if there's any lesson here, is that we have to do politics. This stuff that we do right here, where we try to figure out what else we can do besides politics, that ain't working. What's the deal with this? This article was 2021. What's the deal with the Spike Lee crypto ad? Yeah, Spike Lee was out here hopping around, talking about, they all had people believing, like it was a frenzy. And it's not just our celebrities. It was celebrities in general, that some celebrities have gotten in trouble because they was out here just doing whatever. But we can least afford to listen to our celebrities about things about how to spend our money. They're not experts on that. They're not experts on investments. They are getting paid for this stuff, and you should understand that. You should understand that they are selling the idea of liberation and reparations through a product. Then that product was not regulated. That product was not insured. That product was the Wild Wild West, and it was irresponsible of these celebrities to sell this to us. Given our wealthlessness and where we are in America, it was irresponsible to do so. Let's read a little bit about Spike Lee's little thing. This 2021, in a new ad released this week, Spike Lee makes an impassioned case for cryptocurrency, new money, as he dubs it, before specifically promoting a company called CoinCloud, which operates crypto ATMs. Whereas old money is flat out broke and systematically oppressive, says Lee, who both directed and stars in the ad, new money is positive and inclusive. The commercial flashes to three smiling people holding a black trans lives sign, fluid, strong, culturally rich. And here's the phrase we don't like: holding a gold tip cane and gold child, holding a gold tip chain. Y'all can't. Holding a gold tip cane and wearing a red plaid blazer, black bow tie, and Panama hat. The famous filmmaker urges, do your own research. So I came out here and told you it's new money, good money, and all that good stuff. And then I come back and I say, do your own research. Now, you may ask, where is this Coinbase company that because we listen, here we got to start counting the fails. We just can't keep moving like nothing happened. Well, he said CoinCloud or whatever this thing is. So we got to now go look and say, what happened to the CoinCloud? Is the coin still in the cloud? It's still in the sky? Where is it at? Let's have a conversation about where it is. Is it down here? Where is it at? Okay, is CoinCloud still in business? CoinCloud has filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy. I Spike said it was the new money. It was the good money. It wasn't the fraud money. It was the inclusive money. It was the Black Trans Lives money. It was the money. That's what I heard. Now you tell me now that I'm filed chapter what? Wait a minute. You have got to be kidding me. That's not what you said. You said the other money was flat out broke. Wait a minute. Oh, come on. Let's find something else. Spike wouldn't do that now. Would he? He wouldn't do that. Bitcoin ATM operator CoinCloud files for bankruptcy with liabilities of $100 million to $500 million. Well, I guess he did do that. I thought he wouldn't do that. CoinCloud was provided an unsecured loan of $100 million from Genesis Global Capital. It's funny how it's just funny how capital just flows for white American and people in general. It just flows, man. It just flows. It's just like fall on your knee. It's just, I mean, but here's another article. I mean, Black investors who were burned by Bitcoin. It's Bitcoin, crypto. Now all of a sudden people are like, we don't know what happened. And y'all get real quiet. I'm not talking about the people in the chat, just our community. We get real quiet when we get burned by stuff. Like we get real loud calling into my show. Yvette, you don't know. I wish I could just play the calls. Go back and listen to the calls. Some people called in. You just don't know. It's gonna be. I'm already up. I ain't just up. I'm up. Okay. Up. Whew. Ain't that something? See, you weren't early. Black investors were not generally among that early group of dive into crypto, as the Atlantic's Annie Lowry notes. Instead, many of them got in late, and some appear to have bought high and sold low. According to a recent Lending Tree survey, Black crypto investors were likelier than white crypto investors to say that they had borrowed money to make their investment. Let me tell you something. If you have to borrow money to make your investment, you probably don't have enough. That means you don't have the money to invest. Investing means having extra. And if you don't have the money to invest as an ADOS person in this country, then you should think about and work and fight this country to get redress because of what this country has done to you, instead of saying, I'm going to take a shot on this new currency that I don't fully understand. Franklin, I'm going to open up the phones in a minute. Tell me why I'm wrong. Because everybody in the news right now even says I'm right. Franklin Richards, please call in. I want to hear how I'm wrong. And don't tell me you up. Because you being up means you're lucky. It don't mean that you're right. So tell me, I saw, listen, the billionaires. I saw, hey Frank, the billionaires. I saw the former head of Twitter and the former head of Elon Musk say that the country is over because of what the SEC just did to crypto. They have said that the republic is over. Basically, go look in the timeline. That the republic is over because of how the government has clamped down on crypto. See, the problem is, even before you even deal with any of this, is that you don't control anything. That's the issue. You don't control anything. So you don't even know anybody who controls the levers. See, that's part of what investing should be, but we haven't gotten to the point to. It's not about just going to buy an Apple stock. Right? It's understanding what the SEC is going to do. Everybody's saying, listen, crypto's in trouble. Everybody's saying, listen, it's not just me now. That you got to fight the mainstream news now. Because the mainstream news is saying, listen, Bitcoin is in trouble. Hey, Jack, who I was talking about, who's one of the biggest, co-founder of Twitter, he's saying it's in trouble. He's pissed. So if he's saying we got some trouble, and he said the trouble is because the government, right? If he's saying it's got some trouble, who are you to say it's not trouble? Like, this is one of the biggest proponents, billionaires saying we got trouble. I just want to know how you combat what he's saying. And I always said that you don't know how the government is going to come down on this. You don't know what the government is going to do. The government is going to, and I said the government is not going to leave this unregulated, and there are going to be crooks around here. And let's talk about that. When I said they're going to be crooks here. Oh no, you don't know. I don't know what he better be talking about. Ain't gonna be no. Okay, let's talk about it then. Let's have a conversation about it. Let me tell you something. When anything's unregulated, you gonna have crooks. Crooks run to unregulated markets, right? It's not said everybody's a crook. right? The end of crypto as we know it. Hey, don't argue with me. Argue with these people now, because before Antonio and I were the only people saying it. We're not the only people saying it anymore. So you can argue with them actually, right? This is I said that this is very precarious. I said when I talked about it, I said, this is dangerous. When something is dangerous, that doesn't mean that it is impossible for you to make money off of it. Listen, dealing drugs is dangerous. Can be. You can get robbed and think it happened. You can get caught by the police. It's dangerous. That doesn't mean you can't make money from it. The question you have to ask yourself is risk versus reward. Right? You have to ask yourself, what am I going to do if I lose this money? Right? I can lose this money legitimately and put it in this account and everything goes left. That's one way to lose this money. Right? And the thing just goes down, and we don't even know why it goes down, because it's not even like a market where we have people who've studied the market forever. Do you understand that the stock market, when you talk about bull markets and bear markets, when you talk about other currency trading, people have studied this stuff for decades, and so we have an idea of how it moves. You're in a totally untested territory, and you're thinking you like you know. You're talking to me like you know. And the problem, one of the biggest problems that we have as a group, is that we think we know what we don't know. Listen, it's okay not to know certain things, but know that you don't know. Don't talk to me like you know stuff that you don't know. People are talking right now about how this, when I said, hey, this unregulated market is gonna be crook, it's gonna be some scheming, scamming stuff in there. Now we're seeing it. So let's go back to the article really quick. At the center of the lawsuit are allegations that Binance is, like FTX, a sham propped up by trading firms like Zhao secretly controls. And that money diverted to these firms were used in one instance to buy an $11 million yacht. One of them, called Sigma Chain, was primarily used to prop up Binance's U.S. arm. The other, Merit Peak, was used internationally. Both of them were run by Binance employees at the direction of Zhao to keep prices and trading volume high. Do y'all understand that what we just read is scam? That's a scam and a scheme. Do you understand that? Okay, let's keep going. We're not gonna be here all day dealing with the crypto fantasy. Unlike Bankman Fried, whose hedge fund Alameda Research was a known entity, neither Sigma Chain or Merit Peak were generally familiar to the public. Both were allegedly used to create an illusion around Binance's size and power. In some instances, Sigma Chain was the only trading partner or counterparty available on the platform. In others, it engaged in wash trading. Pay attention to what wash trading is. I'm finna say it, just pay attention. It engaged in wash trading, or fake trading that makes it look like there's more demand for something than there really is. In some cases, the fakes accounted for 99% of the trading of some coins. Merit Peak allegedly used customer funds to buy Binance US dollars in its currency. See, here's the thing. There was no way for you to know what you were doing, because there was no way for you to know that this was going on. Like, there was no way for you to know that, like, this level of scam. But that's you are in an industry that has no protections, which means it's not transparent. It doesn't have any government that it has to answer to. And when you don't have to answer to the SEC or some government agency or institution, what happens is that you get to do what you want. You get to make up the rules. How often, when somebody gets to make up the rules, do the rules benefit you? I'm just asking the question. How often, when these capitalists get to make up their own rules, do those rules benefit you? Let me go to the next one. Customer money was poorly handled. Was handled poorly. I mean, it must be dyslexic, child. In the U.S., financial services companies can't just take all their customers' money, throw it into a pile, and call it a day. The money has to be separated into separate accounts, which are tracked and protected by force of law. At Binance, though, this was apparently not the case. According to the SEC, billions of US dollars of customer funds from both Binance platforms were commingled in an account held by a Zhao controlled entity. That entity was one of the trading funds, Merit Peak, which then used customer money to buy crypto assets. Binance executive said incriminating things. If you're a chief compliance officer, your job is to make sure that your company follows the rules. There's nothing wrong with having a desire that there be fewer rules or that the rules be easier to follow. If you were the CCO of Binance, however, it would not look great if you said the following. And this is what they said. We are operating as a effing unlicensed security exchange in the USA, bro. I don't even like nobody who says bro, who handles the money. I would take my money away. Bro. We do not want Binance.com to be regulated ever. On the surface, we cannot be seen to have U.S. users, but in reality, we should get them through other creative means. And remember what I said about the market? Remember what I said about how the market, that kind of market especially, is going to be driven and set up by the whales? So what happens is, even if you're able to make money, the whales are controlling the market, and you are not a whale. You are not a whale. You are a little mini fish. You a bait fish. You know those fish you use for bait? You what them little fish called? Minnows? What is the bait fish called? You a bait fish. That's what got Jay-Z running around running around Marcy Projects. People need all kinds of material. Good. He over there trying to get people in crypto classes. How'd that work out? It failed, didn't it? We always have a way for the whales. I can't help myself. So there is another quote from Lim detailing how he's going to try to get around trading rules. We let them trade on .com through a special arrangement. He further explains, we ask them to onboard with the U.S. and then if their volume is really very big, we will push hard on .com. So to accept it on an exceptional basis, we always have a way for whales. Either we do it or a competitor crypto trading company will do it. See, that's what happens with regulation. That's why people will tell you, I like everybody to be regulated. You're a guppy fish. You're a guppy fish. Strippy fish. You're a little bitty fish. No wealth means you're a small fish. I know you're big in your own mind and hearts. I love it. We are wonderful people. But listen, wealth-wise, this is a wealth game. Guppy fish. Worm. Let me stop for a bit. Is that called that? No, that's not what. This is one of the big pieces of the suit. Binance had a plan to make it look like they weren't soliciting U.S. customers when in fact their business depended on them. Now, you can say whatever you like to say. Just look at that for 2 seconds. You can say whatever you like to say. But what that tells me is that there was a lot of danger in this market. And let me tell you something else. Just because there was danger in the market and you did not get caught up in the danger does not mean there was not danger in the market. If you made money, it means you were lucky, not smart. Like, that's just what you're looking at, because this was dangerous. It was governed by people, not you, and it was governed by people that you never had access to. And it wasn't you can get scammed on a regular investment. But there are supposed to be some price to earnings ratios. You're supposed to be able to know something about the market. Hopefully you know somebody in that sector. There are things that you can do, and then they have to make the reports to SEC. They have to show up before the board and make projections. There are all sorts of things, and you still have to diversify because you still don't know, right? You will probably want some real estate investments. You will probably want some other stuff to hedge against that. This right here was dangerous, and what this shows and what these allegations show is that these people were pulling some fraud stuff. And anytime you have something unregulated, that's just what happens. People gonna pull some frauds. They're gonna put sand in your ground beef. They're gonna put even listen. We run the risk because we don't even enforce laws in this country. That's part of the reason we have so much environmental racism. The EPA ain't enforcing nothing. We got lead in the baby milk. You can end up with bad stuff even when it's regulated because it's not enforced enough. But if you want, what do you think that means when you have a totally unregulated market? My gosh. I just got listen. That's all I want to say. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to set up the phones in case anybody wants to call in. If not, I understand it's Friday. I totally understand. But this stuff, nobody said this stuff was dangerous. And listen, let me just say this. I don't want to deal with anything. I like to complain. I like to know. I like to be able to look at something and know exactly, like read it and know what the rules of the road are. And then if somebody violates the rules of the road, I like to be able to come over and say, Mr. Government SEC person, somebody violated the rules of the road as it relates to my monties. If I like to know if I have money, if you have money even in your bank account, that it insures up to a certain point. I like to know that kind of stuff. Right? Yeah, sawdust tacos, infinite sawdust tacos, all kind of stuff. Y'all remember how shopping was? We found out it's taco. What was it? They was putting it was putting all that sand in the tacos. That's awful. All kind of stuff they're allowed to do. You can have so many insects in your the per capita, the insect per capita rate. But I like to know what the rules are so I can say, hey, you got to insure my stuff at this point. You having people get somebody hacked into my account and stole my virtual wallet. Well, what you gonna do? What can you do? Nothing. It's not regulated, and it had a key, and somehow they got hold to my key, and I guess it's gone. Child, I can't live like that. You can't live like that either. Like you don't have enough wealth to live like that, and everything's on a virtual key, and you got to check the accounts. Oh my goodness, and you be checking all the time. Check my I got $800. Stop it. Anyway, fam, let me stop talking and set up the phones. Give me a couple minutes. As usual, I'll be back. And it's up to you. Totally up to you. Easy breezy Friday, okay? We are back. Ooh, the queue is full. Let me find out. Y'all talking it's 7:00 on a Friday. I gotta get rid of that cough. You know I don't cough until I worked out there. I don't cough until I start talking. But let me go to 323. 323. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind? Oh, call's taking a few times. I swear I don't to come through today. I swear. Hold on, 323. What is going on, child? What is going on? Hold on a second. I don't know what's going on with the calls. We got a lot of calls. Hold on a second. Uno momento. Now let's try again. Talk. Let's see. It ain't working. It ain't 2323. Something's going on. Well, we'll get that time to do what it do. Let me try to go in from this computer. So when y'all remember Barack Obama sung that song? So in love with you. He had us thinking he was somebody, child. He sung Al Green for y'all. Oh my goodness. I think that one might have dropped. Hold on a second. Let me see. So, let me see. Whatever you want to do. Yeah. Every time you know what? Something's going on with it. Yep. Hold on one second, y'all. Let me see if I can do it from here. All right with me. Oh, this is ridiculous. Let me. He showed that Al Green. Y'all know he did. Hey, everybody want to get quiet. Y'all know he played that Al Green, and Barack Obama had y'all thinking, child, he was the bee's knees. I don't want to go in through here. Let me see. Wonder what's going on. Hold on a second, fam. Relax. Enjoy your Friday. Let's see what's going on here. It's always something. I swear, if it ain't, like the old people say, if it ain't one thing, it's another one. You know what it's like it's doing? It's like it's dropping the calls. Like if you called and you couldn't get through a call back, because it's like it's dropping the calls instead of having you talk to them, instead of having them. That's just ridiculous. Because I'm in the mood for an argument. Yeah, I remember that. Oh my goodness! What is going on with the thing? Why I tell you? That's why I now understand why the old people said what they said. If it ain't one thing, it's another one. You be like, what's wrong with you? Why you acting this way? And then you be like, what did you talk? What's wrong with grandma? What's wrong with what they mean if it ain't one thing? Child, they old enough to be frustrated. And that's what that is. Why they so aggravated? They ain't got to be that way. Yes, they do. You don't know what they've been through. You don't know their struggle, do you? Do you? Let's see. What in the world? All right, let me see if I can do it here. Hold on a second. Okay. Hold on one second. 469. 469. What's going on? Whew, that was live.
Hi, Yvette. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey. Okay. Yeah, my name is Troy, calling from Dallas. Been listening to your show for about 4 years, and just want to chime in on the conversation because I have some experience and knew a lot of people that dealt with crypto.
Okay. Feel free.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to bring something to the callers. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with high frequency trading, when it refers to Wall Street.
Oh.
They have invested in technical infrastructure that allows them to have the information and data from trades so many seconds before other apps and stuff, with the investment in high-speed data cables and all that kind of stuff. And so applications like Robinhood, Coinbase, or any trading app that's free, because typically you would need to work with a broker or something to buy stocks, and they have their commission and fees rolled into that. But once they started rolling out all these apps with low or no fees, they say anytime there's an app out there that's free, basically the user is the product. So in this situation, they were using the trading data, selling the trading data to Wall Street firms, or, someone like Robinhood. I think there was some ownership going on in there, where they were taking the people's information and using that to bet against the people. So it's a more efficient way to game the system when it comes to pumping money and extracting money out of the economy and prices of stocks and spoof trading, like they're putting in buy orders and then canceling them at the last minute to make something look like it's got more volume or more demand. So it's a high-tech form of trickery, and a lot of people I know got by it because they really believe that this is the next generation of banking when it was like a next generation of thievery.
Well, and the thing is, like, it was too early to know what it was. Like, because really and truthfully, what happens, this is not a underdeveloped country, right? So what happens is that means you have a strong government, regardless of what the government does to you. That means when that government weighs in, that's when you're going to know what direction this is going to take. Like, when the government weighs in and say, we're going to allow it, we cool with it, whatever. But the government has been signaling for some time that they're not cool with it. And I believe, listen, I have a theory. And it's an unproven theory. I don't like to say conspiracy theory because some of those things get proven right. I have an unproven theory. When you talked about selling information. One time I was on the phone. I mentioned something to the person I was on the phone with. Like, you have to buy, let's say I say you have to buy a certain kind of training shoe, right? To run and work out in. When I get off the phone, guess what shows up in my Google search? But I'm going through online.
I see that every day. I deal with that every day. I'm having a conversation with somebody on my phone at night, or we're discussing something in email, and I'm getting ads and videos across multiple platforms, not just on Google or my phone, but even on my TV and stuff. So all this, they're all like sharing data or commodifying our data and sharing it because, you know, like I know you made mention of like, okay, the psychology of, okay, I got crypto, I'm looking at it every 5 minutes, I'm in the bed, 2 in the morning, I done looked at it 30 times an hour.
I have to get out of my bed, child. Nobody looking at
actually data. What's crazy about that is that actually is data that they're selling. How many times somebody looked at something, even though they never bought or sold it, even though you opened your phone and looked at it, that is data that somebody has commodified and sold, and somebody is betting against you with that data, you know, and your statistics and gaming the system on how you're going to react to something. So it's crazy that stuff that we don't think is money is money now.
You have said it. They're gaming our psychology. Like, it's the gaming of psychology. And when it frustrated me so bad because when I saw the ad based on something I said over the phone and what was supposed to be a private conversation, the first thing I thought about, do y'all remember when that front line came out that the government was in all of our phones, right? And it was the terrorism.
Under Obama.
Yeah, it was the terrorism. They were in our phones over the terrorism, child. And I said, and then they were saying, we're only going to use certain data. And the thing that clicked with me even in that moment is, that's too much data for corporations to not want to use. And America doesn't function on behalf of the people right now. America functions on behalf of the multinational, right? These corporations. So eventually what's going to happen is that they're going to kind of say, hey, you have all of Americans' data. Let us get in there. Because you said you're not doing anything with us, get in there. And when I said something and I didn't type it, I didn't search it, I just said it on the phone, and then I go to my search and go to my internet, and the thing I just said is there. I had somebody else call me about the other week and say that I was looking for a freezer. I went to the store, I bought a freezer, like a little stand-up freezer, like a little freezer for your room or something. You know how people with kids be the children be eating all their food. so then
a little drink freeze.
Yeah, so you gotta put my stuff away. And they said, but the minute I got home, I go to my email and it's a survey in there about a stand-up fridge. And I said, they're trading everything, and they're gaming and our psychology and just trying to make sure that they're perfecting and understanding what we want. And even if we don't want things, they're creating desire inside of us. It's awful. But I say that to just kind of go to your point. I can absolutely see that them selling all that information about not only what you do, but how you do it and how many times you do it. You can use that to create a gambling addict. You can use that to create you can use that to do what. You can tweak that person's algorithm in such a way that you become very problematic in how they live, how they move, and how they spend money.
Yep, and it's you're hacking the human, and so it's like are you aware of your decisions you're making, or are you being influenced into the decisions that you're making? And it's all these subtle nudges. And you might not be aware of an ad that they show you at a certain time in the day, and they figured out that if they show something to you at a certain time in a certain way, that they can get a quantified reaction out of you.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely.
Yep,
some,
they know when you had lunch because you done typed to somebody, hey, I'm having lunch at 1 or 2 o'clock or whatever.
Well, and it's getting even more invasive because, like you were saying, based on the conversation, that's what's feeding into the chat GBT, because it's not really AI, it's actually a language modeler. So the more we talk in front of this thing, our conversations is actually learning how to replicate us to be able to trick and fool us. I think they have something called it's like I don't know if it's called a Turing approach or Turing method or something like that, but basically it's like a measurement of how well somebody can be fooled by an artificial entity, device, computer, electronic, it's a measurement of how well or how easily a human is fooled by a non-human thing or whatever.
And I think it's becoming, I think the AI I think you're right. I think you're right, because I think what they're doing now, I think they're eventually going to feed all the phone calls right into the feed it into the AI. And the AI is great until the damn thing tells you to kill yourself or whatever. He's gotten into trouble. Remember, I can't remember what country where it was supposed to be the AI friend that told the man to take his own life. And it's not. It's so absurd. That's why I'm not laughing at what happened, just the absurdity of it all. And it told a man who had mental health problems that, hey, you might as well just end it all, and we're gonna be there together. What in the world? But I think they're gonna get it to a place that it'll be, especially in America, where you saw the Surgeon General said we have an epidemic of loneliness in this country, right? That's why we as ADOS got to be a community, because they're gonna give us little robots as friends. Just gonna then sell us stuff back. Don't you want to buy this? You feel better if you bought this.
This little robot acts like all the black people we've seen online. I know you'll like it.
I think
dance, rap, and do everything we know your people like. I've seen it.
Yes, I think some of these little. Listen, I have all kind of theories. I have to leave my mind alone sometimes. I think some of these little Twitter people, I think some of them be AI, because sometimes you be like, that was real witty. And I'm not saying we ain't witty, but I'm just like, it's too on point every time. How are you this witty all day? You gotta work somewhere, do something. Day. You this with it all day. Some of this stuff has been AI. I wouldn't be surprised if half of Twitter was populated by AI before any of us ever knew about AI. It was just populated by Black Twitter. 80% of Black Twitter will be AI.
You there. And that's how they could easily hijack a lot of black conversations. If you put a bunch of black faces having what seemingly seems to be like black conversations out loud, then it's going to be like a mosquito trap or something like that. You're going to draw people to the water, and they're not even realizing that, getting you to interact with this thing and talk open and freely, but we're using this information that you're freely open here, thinking you're just having open conversations and hanging out online. But, it's like they tricked you to come to the club with flyers and put a bunch of pictures of people that weren't even really there. They photoshopped them in, and he said, okay, I'm going to go to the club and see that person and that person. But getting you there was the main draw. They don't care about the fake people being there.
No, they don't care about none of that. They gonna get you there. I think we're in a strange time, fam. I think the bots with Twitter is too much. they too witty. I don't trust witty accounts to be witty all the time. Don't never make a bad joke.
Yeah, don't like this stuff. As soon as you like or comment on something, then you'll see all these random pages start adding you. And it's like, man, you have to almost kind of move on the internet in silence, because if I like something and then 50 pages that are associated with me like that thing will follow me, and then if they like the way you look, if you got dreadlocks or you look real ethnic, you'll see clone accounts of you. Like, okay, this person looks ethnic enough to sell this message. And, and it's weird that they can kind of clone and copy you online. It's very spooky.
Well, let me tell you this.
But that's all I wanted to add.
And I'll end here, fam. I saw a Twitter thing that says, show a picture of yourself when 20 years ago or whatever, and then people were showing pictures of themselves. People are so gullible. So people were showing pictures of themselves 20 years ago, right? And somebody put up a post and said, don't feed the AI. So I said it to say that.
You feeding the beast. You giving your face away.
And listen, I've used AI for some of the images of the thumbnails. It's brilliant. Like, depending on what you put in, how it uses the stuff that we do and we create to come and make something new. Man, it's a strange times. But I appreciate it, fam. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll say this one last thing. Is definitely taking over my job. I do a lot of dictation. I work in the legal field, and a lot of AI is taking over a lot of dictation and documents that would have been very redundant. So I definitely, I don't see how people in the future are going to be, doing this type of, lengthy document work when it can be done in a second by AI. And I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I thank you, fam, and I see that too. Like it's almost like, it's like it helps you. It helps you be more productive too. And just as the honest part, like, normally, I have thankfully people who inside the org, mainly the head of admin in the ADOS Foundation, who does a lot of stuff, in terms of reaching out and doing that kind of stuff. But it's just like, now if I say, hey, I don't want to this event, no, or thank you, whatever, I don't have to, ask her, can you, or whatever, or me do. It's just like, no, write this letter, say no to this for these reasons, and you go in and tweak it and it's finished. So in some ways it's beneficial if you don't have the money to hire people, but in other ways putting people out of work in droves. It's crazy. Anyway, going to my next call. I'm going to 678. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind? Oh, I forgot I got to go through the other thing. I forgot just that quick. I forgot this thing was acting up. Ooh. Hold on 1 second. 678. See if I can get it. 678, you there? Hello?
It's Mike from College Park. What's going on? Hello?
Not too much. What's going on with you?
Nothing much. So I'm listening to you, right? And the last show, when you were talking, it reminded me of when you went back 5 years. You remember that guy that called in your show and was like, I converted my whole 401k to Bitcoin or whatever cryptocurrency?
I remember.
And I just thought about all the people. Do you remember that?
I remember. I was like, I remember thinking I wouldn't have did that. I don't know if I said it. I think I probably said it.
Right. You said it out loud. You was kind of like, what? But it made me think about all the people that are like have been crypto crazy. I consider myself an amateur investor, and I bought Tesla stock back when it was like $20. I was lucky though. It wasn't that I knew it was going to happen. I just like, hey, this is a good stock. Maybe I'll buy it, whatever. But at the same time, y'all are right. When you get, I have E-Trade. When I first started doing it, I'm on there like every 5 minutes. Like, let me see. Let me make sure this ain't dropped down. Let me go. It was too much. I'm at work. You'll be at work, like checking your stuff. You're supposed to be working. So you're losing money trying to make money.
And hold on, pause 1 second, fam. Pause 1 second. Because that's also anxiety, right? It's not just like you're supposed to, like, that stuff you're supposed to just let sit. It's not supposed to be something that's going to cause you anxiety. And even to your point about the Tesla stock, there's a lot of stuff that could have happened in terms of Tesla's relationship to the government, in terms of their production or whatever, that could have made that not be a good stock, right? So but go on, fam. I'm sorry.
No, you're right. You're right. It was something I had been researching the year before, but nobody could have told me or anybody else that stock would have went the way it went. Nobody saw it coming, just like Bitcoin. If you bought Bitcoin back in 2009, nobody saw that it was going to be what it did. Honestly, it's been on a downward trend since 2021. All the people talking about, that's wrong. If you invested 5 years ago, look how much you have now. 5 years ago, you couldn't even afford one Bitcoin. So let's stop playing. It's one Bitcoin is supposed to be 26,000. But here's the thing: how do you get your money? I want those people to tell me let's say I invested the money. How do I get my money? Like I don't trust it. It's never been used as a fiat currency. Nobody takes it. Nobody trusts it. All the government agencies are starting to look at it funny, and we're still over in the corner talking about, hey man, you need to get in, buy low, sell high. I'm like, what? Like I don't know what we think. Like we'll listen to people who went to jail, but we don't listen to educated folks like y'all.
Well,
we don't sit up there and listen to somebody who was in jail, reading books, and not listen to the person. Like there's the brother J.P. Pocket watching. This brother went to college for finance, all this kind of stuff. You're not gonna listen to him, but you may listen to I don't know, one of them guys that out there be on the street in New York somewhere talking to people about finance.
But we love the hustler.
I don't understand how people say that.
We love the hustler, fam. We love the hustler more than we love the expertise. Like, I think we still view the expertise as like the nerd in the school. Oh yeah, I don't want to do none of that stuff. But when somebody says, "Hey, I'm fresh out of the jail. I'm fresh out of the cell block. I almost got killed, and I shot somebody, and I'm out," because an old head pulled me aside and told, like, for that's like, oh my God, I love that story. It's just like, I want you to get out. And I said this when I saw a person who was talking that way. And somebody said, Yvette, you don't want to see people redeemed. I said, yes, I want to see people. I would love, and I love to see ADOS men come out of jail and be able to make a life for themselves. I love a redemption story. And that's, I love that. I said, but if you done shot somebody and you done sold a bunch of drugs, you done admittedly done a bunch of stuff, you cannot tell me what to do with my money, not ever. Like, not ever in this life. I want to, go on, fam, I'm sorry.
Listen, let me tell you, my family, we're celebrating 40 years in business this year. I have a construction company, right? Over the years, I have had people argue me down about the industry I've been in. I've been doing for 20-some years of my life, right? They will argue me down, and I'm like, well, what do you do for a living? Oh, I work in a warehouse. Come on, man. We got to stop this, man.
I don't tell you how to drive the forklift. Do I? Do I tell you how to drive the forklift?
My father sold the company. It's ridiculous.
Well, let me just say this, fam. And there's another part about it. There's another thing, too. We don't understand risk. Like America has set up something that's so awful, right? America encourages you to risk a bunch of stuff and then has nothing to save you once the risk is there. So this stuff never should have been allowed to have been legal because of how risky it was, right? America really should have dealt with all this and said, hey, y'all got to pause until we figure this out. Instead of letting everything just build up like this and then now say, oh, we got to figure it out. No, this was always, listen, we don't understand the risk. I see. That's why you see all the time these videos going on Twitter where unfortunately a young person is in front of a judge and the judge says, hey, it's 20 years to life or whatever, and the person breaks down, and it's just because you didn't understand the risk. And that's what America does. America loves to put you in a risky situation. You have to be like, no, that's too much risk for me to bear. I'm not doing this because it's too much risk. Part of the reason I have I remember when I was talking about Uber and Lyft, people are like, oh, that's just elitist. No, I want you to have a better life. I'm not saying, I understand that you're having to drive Uber and Lyft because of what this country has done to you. I'm saying that they owe you a better life because that's too much risk for you to put somebody in your personal vehicle, right, and have to take them from point A to B. That's too much risk. That's not independence. That's not self-employment. That is risk on risk on risk. But go on, fam. I'm sorry.
I'm going to say this, just to add to what you just said. We don't know how to count losses. You said that a long time ago. And it's like something I've been thinking about for years, and I didn't know how to put into words. And you came and said that, and I was like, that's exactly what it is. We don't know how to count losses. We'll have a loss and act like it's a win. It's like, I've seen so many people take like a big loss and they won't say nothing. And then like weeks later, they moved on to something else. And I'm like, hey, didn't you just lose some money? Nah, man, it was something I did. It's like we'll take that on and saying it was my fault, not looking and saying maybe you were swindled or maybe that wasn't a good investment or whatever. It's like we don't know how to count those losses, and that's dangerous also.
Yeah, so don't know.
Like you said, it's the risk. And then we got the loss, and we don't know how to count.
Well, understand something. Understand something. If you don't have any self-awareness is what leads to self-accountability. And being accountable to yourself and your group is what leads to growth. So how are we supposed to grow if you don't have any awareness, which leads to accountability? If you can't even see that, this person swindled me, and they swindled me because of something inside of me. I have an emotional driver, right? And we all have emotional driver. But I have something that kind of made me feel like this would be good. I was desperate for a certain kind of outcome because of my life. If you can't deal with that internally and what that means in terms of how there are ways that people figure out what your emotional what your emotional drivers are, and they just tickle them and tweak them in a certain way and use certain words to kind of make you feel. That's why America says liberty and freedom and choice and all. They know what words mean. Certain words evoke a certain thing in the American mind. Certain words evoke a certain thing in the ADOS mind. And so they know to say that to you. You want to do something for your kid, right? You want generational wealth. Well, come over here and subscribe to my program. It's $10,000. Oh, you ain't got it, brother. You got to go do what you got to do to make this money now. You a man, right? You a grown woman, right? You know, I mean, and they say these things, and next thing you know, you found out you done bargained, done whatever, hook or crook to get this money, and now you think it's going to lead you in a certain place. People get hurt behind this kind of stuff too, physically hurt. You done took this money from somebody and they hide behind a tree with a little pistol. Go ahead, fam. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna get off phone. You know, I in my industry, just like you said, I had a guy I was working with. This was years ago. I worked with this guy for 3 months straight, and he owed me $20,000. And when it came down to the end, he didn't pay me my money. Basically, he was like, "Man, what am I paying you $20,000 for?" I mean, he made this big deal about it. And I thought about, you know, I didn't have no contract with him. It was just the guy I grew up with that I did some work for, right? And I had to sit there and, like, take that, not saying that it was my fault that he took the money from me, right? But I had to be smarter about the way I moved with certain things. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
he it's not like he took the money and was rich or whatever, but he knew he was doing me wrong. I had to learn how to count that loss. And I had to say, okay, I can't move and operate like this. You have to do your part better. You know, I'm not responsible for him. I'm responsible for how I do my stuff. You know what I mean? So every time I hear these kind of stories, over the years, I've talked to so many black people, try to help them with their business and everything. The one thing I've learned is everybody wants to, like, have this grand opening, and they want to do it big, and they want to do all this stuff. And I'm like, we got to do the research. Y'all have to do the research. If you're going to spend the money, if you're going to do the stuff, do the research. And stop just listening to people talk. Actually do the work. That's why I love what you and Tone do. Y'all do the work, and y'all show us how to do the work. Y'all give us the language to use and everything like that. And, you know, we have to start as a people, as ADOS, say, you know what? You know, in order for us to do the work, we have to start knowing what's important to us. Is this important? If it's not, we can't waste our time on it anymore.
Yep, I agree with you. And let me tell you, love you too. And people will make all kind of reasons why they can't pay you back.
Say what now?
I said people will make up all kind of reasons why they can't pay you back. I did something for somebody one time. This has been years ago. I was in my 20s. They said God did it. You didn't do it. Wait a minute. Okay, but God was working through me. Give me my stuff.
Man, hey, I understand it. I know how to move now because of situations like that. You know what I mean? It's a lesson. And, you know, I hope that people that are listening understand that we don't have the time. We cannot afford the time to waste on things like this. The fight has to be for the reparations. The fight has to be for our certain things. I'm going to say this real quick. I don't want to be too long with it. But last time I talked to you, I told you I had a friend that was working for city council. I got a friend now that's running for mayor also in my city. So two ADOS people.
Great.
So,
that's good stuff.
We, you know, trying to do it locally. That's what we're doing. I just re-registered to become a voter registrar, so I'm doing my part and everything.
All right.
So I'm going to say this. You know, I got to leave something to make you laugh. You know, I still say, if it ain't one thing, it's another. I don't know why I say that, but I still say that. So it ain't just the old folks. I still say that.
I say it too,
so
fam.
if you say that, don't feel bad. Anybody that say don't feel bad, I still say that. But I love you, man.
Love you back, fam.
Doing. And I'm hoping, I want to be part of the chapter. I know I got a lot of stuff going on locally. I know you had something on Twitter. Is there anywhere else that I can find the information?
Well, no, we're lunching soon, so don't worry about it. You just have to get caught up to speed.
Okay,
we'll explain to you how everything's gonna happen. But it's all good.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. And look, get that little hair out the back of your throat. You know that little hair that make you cough all the time. That's all it is.
I don't know. If I'm not talking, I'm not coughing. I went running and didn't cough at all. But I get here and start talking, and it's like, I think it's that smoke all the way down here in the South. The Canadians need to get their stuff together.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, fam.
But you take it easy.
You too. All right.
All right.
Bye. And some people could be like, I saw in the chat, well, that's his fault. It's both people's fault, right? Like you have to vet the people and not get caught up in, oh man, I'm going to really hit, and this is a perfect deal. And the other person has to, you have to make an effort to try to pay me back. Like, people make up worlds like, well, I'm going to pay you back. And you know, you knew what the risk was. Did you promise to pay me back or not? And see, that's why I don't do that kind of stuff. Because then now we in the street fighting. And see, that's an assault. See, I can't do that kind of stuff. I had to stay away from that kind of stuff. I stay in the house. I see, you're not going to get back caught up and try to get my $10 back. But they got to be $20,000. Like, it was mine, though, and I worked for it. Or somebody gave it to me because they believe in what I'm doing. And you can't take it. Who are you to take it? Right? So, I'm going now to 210. 210, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
This is Charles, and I'm calling from San Antonio, Texas. How are you doing today?
Hey, how you doing?
Hello. Hey, good. Let me preface, but
You're breaking up just a little bit. Make like a tree and be still.
Since 2010. So I think I'm going to agree with you that all of these coins and that is just crazy. And it does need to be regulated. What I think one of the biggest things you got to understand, there's a difference between the cryptocurrency, we're called blockchain.
Hey, fam, are you?
You know what it's called?
Hey, fam, are you moving around?
I'm sorry.
Are you moving around? It's breaking
No,
up
I'm
a little bit for me. So just kind of be still a little bit. It's breaking up a little bit for me.
Okay, hold on. I have earphones on. Let me take those off.
Okay, take your time.
Okay. Well, I think that anytime technology changes, you're gonna get disruption, and I think this is what's on. Are you aware that on that the crypto, but the blockchain, like a lot of things, like banks, they already wrote them.
I still can't hear you good, fam.
Hello?
I still can't hear you good. I'm sorry. Can y'all hear him? Can y'all hear him okay? It sounds like you are the AI.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Let's try again.
Hello?
Let's try again.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, a lot of coins, they run on what's called the block.
Yeah, it's still breaking up. I gotta let you go, fam. It's still, you're gonna have to call from like a landline or something. I can't hear you. I'm sorry. I apologize, but I still can't hear him. It keeps coming in like first it was breaking up, and then I couldn't hear nothing at all. So if you call in from a landline, fam, because I want to hear, because I heard something about the blockchain, and I want to hear it, right? So I would like to hear it. I saw somebody in the chat says it's all about mindset. I want you to change your mindset today, and today is June the 9th of 2023. In June the 9th of 2025, I want you to come back and I want you to show me how you became a millionaire or whatever out of mindset. I want you to do that now. I want you to write down this date, right? And I want you to come back and I want you to show me in 2 years, hey, this is where I was in 2023. I changed my mindset. And this is where I am now, and I want you to come, and I need to listen. Get your notebook, and I want you to write now, because I think mindset is important, but I don't think mindset closes a generational wealth gap, right? I think you should get up every morning knowing that and you should try to be as positive as you can about what you're going to do in your life. Mindset is very important. Mindset is important in terms of your workout. It's important in terms of your work ethic. Nobody discounts mindset. But we do discount what America can do. I mean, what mindset can do. Mindset, you have to be very careful, or you will think mindset is magic, right? Mindset is not magic. Those are very different things, right? Mindsets can control how you feel throughout your day. That's what they call mindfulness too. How aware you are about how you are having a conversation with yourself, your self-talk. All of those things go into mindset. But mindset is not magic, and if somebody comes from, if somebody comes from a multi-million-dollar family, and you think that your mindset is going to be the difference maker in terms of getting you to exactly where they are, I think you are believing in magic as opposed to mindset. So I'm going to 910. What's going on? I think I got it working from here. It's messing up over here again. Let me go back over here. 910. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, Mrs. Vet? This is Christian.
Hey, Christian, what's going on?
Another great show. Yes, man. I just, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. So you actually prompted me to do something. You didn't even really say this, but you actually prompted me to want to actually go on my social media and make a massive apology to every follower that I have. And the reason I say that is I was also one of those people that got caught up in the Forex, in the Bitcoin, and all that other stuff. And the thing is, I didn't make any money off of it, but I was involved in kind of like pyramid scheme type programs where they tell you to recruit people and to all the things that they show you. Quite frankly, as everybody's mentioned before, they show you the cars, they show you, and then they play on the things that you need, like generational wealth and wanting to take care of your family, in order for you to buy into it. And I'm so glad that the brother mentioned it before. I used to literally be at work making $13 an hour, but I can't focus on work because I'm trading and checking my phone every 5 minutes because I can't afford to lose $5. But I'm paying $50 a month or $60 a month to get the so-called knowledge that is supposedly worth more than the capital that's needed to invest. And I think one of the things that is very important and I think it's beautiful that you said it as well, if people were able to see the losses and if the losses were as loud as the wins, you wouldn't get nearly as many ADOS involved with all of this stuff as we do now. I know people personally who have really broken down to me and didn't really think that I could do math, where it's not so much about investing, it's about a popularity contest. So if you can get a social media profile, let's just say, for instance, you get 10,000 followers, and you get about 1,000 people to subscribe to a class that you got, and they're paying $50 to $60 a month, that is continual income that you have, disposable at that point, to go and invest, but they're not telling you that. They just make it look like they live in these lifestyles off of the trading and off of the investing, and not necessarily because what they're doing actually works. And so while I didn't have anything, I'm losing hundreds and hundreds of dollars that I could have used to pay off credit card debt, been able to put aside for emergency funds and everything else, but I'm using it for a predatory ADOS pipe dream, so to speak, that played on my insecurities as a husband, as a soon-to-be father, and all of that other stuff, and then came out with my pockets empty. And the people look at you and say, like was mentioned in the chat, oh, well, your mindset was off. I was raised by real estate investors that built multi-million-dollar portfolios. I'm an entrepreneur at heart, so it's not like I don't have the mindset. The problem is it takes capital in order to make capital. And when you don't have capital, you come from a group that just doesn't have any capital at all whatsoever, you are a fool to believe that you can just hit the lottery. And quite frankly, that's all this is. And a lot of the people that I know that were doing the cryptocurrency, but it didn't work, or they're $40,000, $60,000, $70,000 Bitcoins, when they were worth a fraction of that, what they turn to? Sports betting. So now I got people that are claiming to be community leaders in my city that are leading sports betting classes for majority ADOS people.
Sports betting classes? There are sports betting classes? Oof.
Yeah. So now people are not just watching the NBA because it's a game, but they watching the NBA because they might be able to pay their light bill if LeBron gets enough assists.
Well, and hold on one second, Christian. Let me just go back to your original point for 1 second for y'all. What you're saying is that they are destroying their quality of life too, because sports is the one thing that they were able to kind of come to and relax and just watch. Now that becomes kind of a business for them because they're watching to make money, right? So they can't even just sit back with their friends. It's one thing to make a bet with your friend about who's going to win the playoff or whatever the case. That's one thing. It's another thing to have put money in here to bet on a specific thing, and now you can't even enjoy it. You can't even have fun. You can't even have fun no more. Because I'm betting on this and I got something riding on this, and it's not just a friendly bet. I got money on this. So now the thing that you used to use to just kind of unwind and have a Bud Light or whatever, now you can't do that. You've destroyed your quality of life with all this betting and stuff you're doing. Go ahead, fam.
No, you're absolutely right, and so it's also important to note that there's a lot of anxiety that you mentioned before. There's a lot of anxiety attached to this, and a lot of people just tell you, "Oh no, don't be anxious, be disciplined." That's not how this works. When you know that if this doesn't work, you're not going to have no backup plan. That there's no trampoline for you to bounce back off of. There's no, and there were times I was doing literally exactly what the traders told me to do, and I still lost money. And their response was, well, you win some, you lose some. I didn't have $30 to just lose. I needed that to get to work for gas. I didn't have just $40, $50 to lose. I have formula. You told me I was going to be making six figures in 60 days. And then it is so ridiculously irresponsible. And then we prop these people up like they're leaders and everything else. And like you just said, they got lucky. There's a lot of rappers that became famous the same way who used the drug game to get what they needed. They used that to get studio time. They used that to get the jewelry and the marketing and everything else that they needed. And then they show that as, oh, I'm a hustler. No, you played the game and you did some stuff that quite frankly was illegal and you got lucky. But you didn't talk about all the partners that you lost along the way. You didn't talk about all the families that might have been destroyed along the way. But you were able to make this record that went platinum, and now you're moving around like you're somebody that is a real businessman, and you're not. There's a fine line between a king and a charlatan, and that's all I got to say on that.
Appreciate it, fam. Thank you. Thank you for your testimony. Like they said in the church, thank you for your testimony today. Woo. Thank you, fam. Yeah, I mean, I think people don't. One thing we don't appreciate enough is quality of life. You got to have some peace. If you want to have a successful life, yes, we talk about wealth because we're wealthless and we shouldn't be, because we should have gotten reparations a long time ago, right? We shouldn't be behind it all. But the other thing that you have to like, part of what reparations and part of what wealth does is allow you to have a certain quality of life. And a quality of life isn't how much you can consume. It's not how much you can buy. It's the fact that you don't have to worry. It's the fact that you can go watch a game with your friends or whatever you want to watch and not have to be fixated on the fact that I'm watching this game because I want to make some money, or I got a bet on this and I really want to come through. That you can just live life. We're not promised anything on this planet, right? And so you want to be able to have, and so that little piece of life that you had is gone now because you're trying to extract blood from a turnip. That's something. 856, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hello?
What's going on, 856?
How you doing?
Pretty good.
My name is John from Jersey. I went back and listened to your video from 5 years ago, and I was just going back and listening to your reasoning why you were, and I think it's correct. It's you can't take a risk and not understand the risk. I think that's to me that's pretty much common sense. And the way it is promoted, I would say the newer coins in the crypto space are promoted. They kind of try to replicate the past performance of the price speculation of of Bitcoin, of Ethereum, of the more major coins. But where I disagree with you at, the disagreement I do have with you is you were wrong with the price of the asset itself, and the price of the whole crypto space itself has grown since your video, doubled since your video. But that's not, I understand your point. Even if you got to be responsible, you got to understand what you're getting into. It is not a driver of, it's not going to be a driver for getting black people out of poverty. It was not built.
But isn't that how it was sold? Wasn't it sold as a driver for generational wealth?
No.
For us, it was.
No. Certain people are selling that as that.
No. Hold on a second. I'm talking. Wait. Hold on a second. I'm gonna let you finish, but I'm asking about how it was marketed to us. Like the thing about it is, you can have. It's like this little drink that the little Casamigos thing. It's not marketed to white people in the same way that it's marketed to ADOS and Antonio's done much more than liquor stuff, but it's not marketed in the same way, right? So what I'm saying in terms of, I'm not asking like it was how it was marketed differently. I'm saying was this marketed to ADOS in the same way that it was marketed to other people? And my second question to you is, how much risk is too much?
Well, for your second question, that is a personal. That depends. There's a lot of variables in that. That depends on your income. That depends on
for you.
Yeah, for individual.
Yeah, for you. I'm talking to you.
For your first. Oh, for me?
Yeah.
Oh, well, me personally, in the industry itself, like this is my income. It's like I said, I look at it as an industry. Like, I look at it as just as any other industry that's growing. I'm not looking at it just from price speculation. I'm also got into the developer side, so I look at it completely different. Not just looking at, well, I need this asset to to rise 10% today or whatever. But and I think that's the problem right now. Within the two-standard space, is most people look at it from the price speculation point, and they're just looking at, oh, I'm trying to get rich. Oh, this is give me generational wealth. Oh, this can elevate you to get a Lambo. And if you're looking at it from that perspective, you're really looking at it emotionally. You're not looking at it from how this could, A, what is the technology? B, how can I apply this technology in my life? And C, I know you're talking about all of this, you're mostly focusing on the negative sides, because there's a lot of negative sides, because it is unregulated. I wouldn't say it's all unregulated. It is regulated in some aspects, but mostly it's unregulated. But you got to look at it. How is this industry going to affect not just me, but the marketplace as a whole?
Why do I care about? Hold on. Let me ask you a question. Why do I care about the marketplace? Like in terms of what I care about, shouldn't I care about how it impacts me? Why should I care about the marketplace? Like, for people, you work in the industry, right? That's your industry, so it makes sense that you would support your industry. Why should I, as an investor, care about the marketplace?
Because this is honestly where the internet is heading to. Like, you're talking about a lot of there's a lot of scams. One of your videos you were talking about internet. I mean, at the time, most people that were understood what BitConnect was, we all knew it was a Ponzi scheme. Like, people know that there's schemes out here, and they know, but they're going to thrive because there's a lot of people within the market that just are trying to get rich quick. But why is it important that why you should look in for yourself is because this is really going to be the standard for the internet.
No, let me ask you, who determines what the standard is going to be? Because what it looks like when I looked at
capital,
when I know no, but capital influences government, right? We have politicians who and let me just say one other thing. People have to stop saying capital. We're all guilty of it, but capital fights. Wealthy people fight all the time. Wealthy interests fight all the time. So what it looks like is that the SEC is having a say in how this goes, in the direction that this goes. And it seems like the people, the capitalists who were in favor of cryptocurrency have an issue with this and see this as a negative thing. So when you say this is the direction that the internet is going, that's not necessarily true. That's up for grabs. And it's looking worse as we go, but that it's not necessarily true. That's not the truth of, that's not in the Bible. That's not, you say this is where, we don't know where it's going. That's part of my point, is that you never knew where this was going because Uncle Sam had not had his say.
You don't understand where this is going.
None of us do. You don't either. There's no way to, hold on 1 second. You can't, you don't have enough capital to say you know where this is going. You don't have to tell me that. I know that. You don't have enough capital to say that you know where this is, or that you are one of the whales who is determining where this goes. Those are billionaires. You're not in that category of people or persons. Or a multimillionaire.
Are you finished?
I know you're not. So no, I'm gonna let you finish, but I'll let you go for a while. I'm gonna go for a while.
You can assume anything you want to assume. I'm telling you, this standard, just because the SEC is coming to crack down on a few exchanges, doesn't mean that this all closes up shop.
No, nobody. Hold on. Wait. I didn't say it closes up shop. I didn't say that. You're making an argument that I'm not making. I'm saying that it's a risky investment. It's too risky for most ADOS people. You're making an argument that I'm not making right now. I'm not saying that everybody's going to close up shop and crypto and Bitcoin will not be traded anymore. That's not my argument. My argument is whether or not this is too risky and whether or not today and 5 years ago, was it too risky for ADOS people? And when you look at how much money was lost and how it was marketed to people and what people went through, I would say yes. It was too risky. It was a total. Hold on, I'm gonna let you go. I'm not gonna not let you go. But any totally, and you admitted earlier that it was an unregulated market. Any unregulated market is too risky for me to put my money in. And you haven't made a good argument as to why it isn't.
That is your appetite. Your appetite is no risk. And I understand that.
My appetite is not totally unregulated. No, I don't have an appetite for no risk. You can make a risky investment in the stock market. A totally regulated market, and you can still make a very risky investment in the stock market. It's not about not having an appetite for no risk at all. I don't have an appetite for an unregulated market.
Do you understand why these assets are going down?
Answer my question. Listen, answer my question why this is a good investment for most ADOS people.
I didn't hear you, sorry.
Why is this a good investment? Because I'm saying, and I've said for 5 years, it's not a good investment. It's an unregulated market. You say that it is. And so I'm asking for you to substantiate your claim that there's a reason for it being a good investment.
Well, just based off if we were just talking about price speculation alone, if you'd have bought Bitcoin, and you would have bought Bitcoin the day you did that video, you would be up. It's over $10,000.
You don't know that.
So just on that alone, you're wrong.
We're not. Hold on. We're not just talking about Bitcoin. We're talking about the cryptocurrency market, and you don't know that. Somebody could have stolen my virtual wallet. You do not know that. And there was no way to know. Hold on, wait a minute. I'm gonna let you finish, but hold on. I have to answer these one by one. Second of all, the SEC could have come in last year. The SEC could have come in 2 years ago. Neither one of us know anybody at the SEC, so we had inside information. So there was no way to know where I was going to be 5 years ago because we didn't know what the government was going to do or who was going to do what in the Bitcoin, who was going to go broke, there was no way to know. You don't have any inside information, and neither do I. Now I'm gonna let you go for like 2 minutes and then get your full thing off. And we'll end it there, and I'll get to the last 2 calls. I want to let you finish, though.
Okay, but again, if you would have had $1 in Bitcoin 5 years ago, to now, you would have gained value. So when you were talking about investment, and we're talking about return, just based off of return, you're wrong. I don't know. There's nothing to argue. You can talk about other variables and this and that, and if I lost this, that. Like I said, if you would have bought Bitcoin and held it for 5 years as an investment, you would be up right now. So based off of that, you're wrong. But my point is, I'm not talking about price speculation. Like I said, my perception is more as an industry. How is this industry growing? There's been billions of dollars pumped into this industry. And there's going to be more billions of dollars pumped into this industry to grow the industry. That means that there's jobs in this industry now. That means there's other ways to benefit from the industry if you look at it from that perspective. Like I said, I'm not sitting here trying to advocate to throwing your life savings into cryptocurrency. You gotta like I said, your risk appetite is gonna be dependent on you and how you maneuver that, whether you do it from a price speculation or do you do it from a more traditional approach of, okay, I'm gonna learn how to develop platforms, or I'm going to understand what smart contracts are, or whatever direction you take it personally, that could be beneficial to you. But just saying that this is risky, it's unregulated, and you're just going off the headlines of institutions that have a financial interest to be negative on cryptocurrency because the media is controlled by, these financial institutions. Like, they contribute to keeping those lights on. So they're going to write negative posts about cryptocurrency, just as have they done for the last, since its existence. And since its existence, since its existence, is the best performing asset in the world. But you're telling me that the best performing asset over the last like 14 years is a risky investment, and it has grown exponentially. I don't understand that. From an investment perspective, you're wrong.
Okay. I listen. I think you're making an argument that I'm not making. That crypto is going to go away, and you know, I'm
not arguing that.
I know, but you're very emotional, and so I have to I'm trying to give you your space
I'm
to
not
kind of.
emotional at all. I'm
not.
It doesn't make sense.
I gave you. You are emotional, and I gave you 2 minutes to kind of get your emotion off, and you're jumping back in here, and you're saying you're not, but you are. You're emotionally invested in this product, probably because, and I understand it. I understand why you would be. Like if I work in government and they said, and somebody said, I would have an emotional reaction. So it makes sense. But what I'm saying is, first of all, you're using hindsight, right? You're saying that okay, if you had invested then and you had bought one, first of all, you couldn't. You got to look at the price of what the Bitcoin was. You're just going to talk about Bitcoin, and I'm not just talking about Bitcoin. I'm talking about crypto in general.
Your video,
right?
I'm going off the end of your video.
That's fine. You're going off the end of my video. I have a whole body of work on cryptocurrency. And you can go off of that. I don't have any problem with you saying that the Bitcoin is up. What I have said is that it could have been down. Right? And that was just, you were gambling.
But it's not.
And hold on. I didn't say it was. Calm down. Get it together. I'm saying that it could have been different. What you did was luck. And I'm all for you being lucky. I'm happy if that's what it was and it was wrong. I'm happy because I want you to be lucky.
It's not luck.
I want the best. Yes, it is. Because yes, it is. Because you
No,
had,
it's not.
yes, it is. Because you had no knowledge. You had no, yes, it is. You don't know what you think you know. Let me finish. Let me finish. You are being emotional. Let me finish. You are being emotional right now. Just let me finish. And I'll let you have the last word. You're being too emotional. Here's the thing.
I'm sorry if I fear that.
You got to get it together, though. See, here's the thing that I said. You can say now in hindsight, I made money, it went up. I'm happy about that. I'm saying that's luck. Because if the government comes into Bitcoin or comes in and says, we're going to do X, Y, and Z earlier, that could have driven that down. And you are not a whale. You had no inside knowledge to tell you that wasn't going to happen. You stayed invested because of what you believed, because it feels like to me that this is more of a religion to you. If I'm wrong about the price of Bitcoin, I'm fine with that. What I'm saying, though, is that you have the advantage of hindsight, not the advantage of expertise. Because there was no expertise that could have told you that it was going to go up consistently over time. And everybody I know who's invested in Bitcoin ain't talking like you. So what I'm saying is that hindsight is just listen, I lucked out. That's great. That's good. But you didn't luck out because of expertise or price to earnings ratio or anything like that. You lucked out because you lucked out. And there's no expertise to that. Now, in the conversation that I'm having right now, Bitcoin is a part of that. But when Uncle Sam comes in, it changes everything. I'm not arguing against your argument that cryptocurrency won't stay around. I don't know. I don't care, quite frankly. I'm not arguing for or against cryptocurrency. So you're saying this does not mean all these places are going to close. I'm not saying it's going to close. I've never said that because of what the SEC did, that cryptocurrency is going to go out of business. I have never made that case. The only case I am making to you and making to everybody is that my foundational premise that this is too risky for ADOS, who are almost all a wealthless group, that foundational assumption and premise stands. That's what I'm saying to you. And I'll let you have the last word. 1 minute.
Okay, I like I said, I agree with that, depending on the individual circumstances, financial. But and I'm not arguing that you were saying that it's going to close up shop. And I'm just, like I said, to me, the industry is going to continue to grow. And before I go, you're saying it was luck that I'm just guessing or whatever with the price. And I asked you, do you understand why these markets, not just crypto, but the stock market in a whole has rolled over? Excuse me, but mostly, you're talking about the SEC, but the Federal Reserve is a catalyst of why all these assets have rolled over. That's why in November 2021, right at the peak of the market, I tweeted out, everybody leave the market. You can look at the chart. You can look for any chart from any asset from November 2021 until now. You're down. That wasn't luck. I do have expertise in understanding technical analysis. It's not just luck. I'm not just sitting here like, oh, well, this is how I feel. It's not emotion. I'm just telling you, your perception of, and I understand it. And like I said, I agree with it mostly. But at the same point, my point is to look at this more so. If you're going to get involved in the cryptocurrency space, look at it as an industry, look at it for, maybe a job, and look at it for learning the economy. Don't look at it as I'm going to get rich quick. Because if you look at it like that, you're going to get scammed. And you're going to fall prey to somebody that's selling you a dream. And that's with cryptocurrency, that's with real estate, that's with any financial investment. And that's my point.
All right. Have a nice day. Listen, y'all gotta get better at explaining stuff y'all believe in. And I'm not trying to say anything towards this gentleman, but you have to get better. And don't say you're emotional. You're not emotional when you are. Like, you have to get better at it. If you want anybody to kind of buy into what you're saying, you have to get better. But my point is, and my point stands, is that you can say, well, you shouldn't be emotional. That's every time somebody, in terms of like when you get involved in the stock market. Oh, you shouldn't get involved in it if you want to get rich quick. Or you shouldn't be involved. That's exactly how crypto was marketed. Crypto was marketed as like black wealth. Like, you can't say that and not say the other part of it, which is it shouldn't have been marketed this way. Right? That you can't hold somebody accountable for how they responded to your marketing. This was marketed as, this is how you close the racial wealth gap, right? This is how you get generational wealth for your family. That's the marketing of it. So it's just, it's not about whether or not, see, the thing is, well, you can say, I can have expertise of the market. Yeah, but you didn't have expertise about when the SEC is going to come in and what they were going to do. Right? And we still don't know how far they're going to go with crypto. We still don't know if they're going to, if anything's going to happen with Bitcoin. We don't know. But I know that some people, some millionaires and multimillionaires and billionaires were on Twitter complaining about what they were doing in terms of Binance, et cetera, et cetera. So that becomes a vacuum in your knowledge, right? You have a limited knowledge. So what I'm telling you, as a person, as a Negro in the world, I'm not investing in something, if I'm you even, well, I don't know. I don't have anybody at the government who knows what's the next shoe to fall. See, in order for me to be involved in this, I would need to have an inside man somewhere. Let me see what my guy at the SEC says about this. Even for me to get involved in an industry this risky, I got to have somebody inside. First of all, I don't see what America does. Because I don't see America's position. America has to have a vested interest, right? And so I don't see that. Now, if I had somebody on the line, I could say, hey, what y'all finna do with this all this crypto around here, and who y'all finna hit, so I can know how to, like, I just want to know. And you don't have to tell me anything specific that gets me involved in any kind of insider trading, but it's incredibly interesting to me that someone can say they're operating based on expertise without having any knowledge about, like, most brokers know, listen, the government isn't going to come in unless X, Y, and Z happens or whatever. We're good. We're maintaining X, Y. This is totally uncharted territory. And so it shouldn't be controversial to say that a wealthless group that really doesn't have money to invest in the market that is regulated, it shouldn't come into a totally unregulated market where the whales are really dictating the market. And to say that, well, Bitcoin did better, and you said it was gonna do worse. Yeah, we both tossed the coin, and one of us was lucky because it didn't get worse because it was producing anything in the world. I mean, it didn't, like there was a potato famine and I bet on the potatoes being good. No, it's just a matter of what countries have, and all countries are deciding this very differently, right? So what may be your position somewhere else may not be the American position, but it's just to kind of say, well, you shouldn't be, when it was marketed. I mean, it's just, I don't know, it just doesn't make much sense to me. And I think what you're seeing when they say the market has changed and everything's changing, I think the SEC is bringing down the hammer. And we don't know when the hammer stops. This hammer could have started 4 years ago and you could have been wrong, right? And they could have did something with Bitcoin. There was no way to know. And you don't have to tell me that you don't have an inside guy at the SEC. So I'm going to go on to my next call. I'm going to 216. 216, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, how you doing? Theodore, Cleveland.
What's
You know
going on,
what?
Theodore?
I like that last song. The guy, like you said, he was emotional, but he was really he was being defensive, you know? And I had coworkers who were involved in Bitcoin. They still are. And they drop all the texts. Scared money don't make no money. You want to be poor forever. You know, when they tell me like that, that makes me back off because I resist that pressure. You know, when it's really pressure, you try to make me feel bad about my decision, when you try and shame me into this thing. And that's what was happening to a lot of people in the black community that I saw around the first time that I heard you talk about it. When this guy was saying 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. I remember you talking about it at the time. And I remember these guys from my job, they had, one of the guys showed me a picture. He was with the guys who run the Bitcoin thing, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, it's based in Vietnam. I said, if anything goes wrong, I said, what legal recourse do you have? Well, you know, you're looking at the bad side, just like that guy was saying. You were looking at the bad side. They only want to look at what's good. And when I researched, you know, the two guys, one of them, he pretty much had no history. He just started a few businesses, but they didn't say whether they were going on. And the other guy, in 1992, he paid a $300 million fine for some type of scheme he was in. He did the same thing in 98 and 2002, but this is the guy who was running his Bitcoin, you know, the Bitcoin thing that these people from my job were, you know, they were involved in, and they had money in. And so I asked him, what I wish you would have asked that guy, how do you get your money out? Or when can you get it out? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that you know, those are things that I really wish you would have asked him. You know, like you were saying earlier, how do you get your money out? Mm-hmm. You know, and if it grew, you know, 10 times over these 5 years, that, you know, 10 times the amount over these 5 years, I know me, the way I'm living right now, I would have needed some of that money over the years. You know what I mean? Let's say, like, if it grew a certain amount after 3 years, I would have needed something at that time, you know?
Well, we can't even, we really need money, so it's hard for us to invest because that's part of the reason we don't leave money in the stock market. I can't imagine, honestly, and this is the God's honest truth, I can't imagine that being my life in terms of a Bitcoin. So wait a minute, I also have to keep my money in a virtual wallet, right? Or whatever, and somebody can come in and hack it, or if I forget it, there's nothing to be done. Like there's so many, and so people are, and because it's unregulated, what people don't really understand, and what the gentleman didn't understand, is that people can come in and manipulate the market now. Markets are easy to manipulate, right? If you have enough money to manipulate them, right? And that's why they call those people whales. So people can be manipulating the market and trying to get me in the market to fatten the market up so they can sell, and there's nothing I can do because it's unregulated. Like, there's no recourse for you is what I'm trying to say. And I don't think everybody understands it. You need recourse. Like, okay, yes, investing is already a risk, right? Because you don't know what's necessarily going to go up, down, you know. You can do your research, but you still, even in a regulated market, you don't know. But in an unregulated market, all kinds of things can happen, and there's no recourse for me as an individual because this is a brand new industry. So I'll let you finish up, fam.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to explain to these people, that like if it all goes bad and you lose, when they tell me times of money, you know, 5 and 10,000, and I'm like, wow, do we make enough money here for you to be putting 5 to 10,000 into that? And that's when the whole thing about scared money don't make no money came up. But they didn't start out at 5 and 10,000. It started out at, you know, oh, you give $200, and then, you know, as time goes on, you giving more and more. And oh man, that's the point I want to make. I was, like I said, they said that I'm a doubting thing, and I'm like, look, I just can't put my money in it like that. You know, and I got a 401k, I got a pension. I'm gonna let that work for me. You know what I mean? Even though, you know, over the years we lost a ton of money in that, you know, through the stock market. And this guy was acting like he knew, because I remember back then when you were talking about it, what you said is you don't know which one is going to take off. You have to be on the right one. Now he was. It sounded like to me he was exclusively talking about Bitcoin, and even then that could have failed. Oh, and another thing, the Elon Musk thing. Like,
Y'all know how many
Elon
them
Musk,
coins failed. Y'all know how many them coins failed. Go on, fam. I'm sorry. I said I was asking people. They know how many of those coins
Elon
failed.
Musk threw a lot of money into it. You know, and for like on Twitter, I guess he announced that he entered or he was about to enter Bitcoin, and it went up real quick for a little while, and then it went right back down. That like when you said that you get a whale in, or you get somebody that say that somebody influential who say they're gonna put in, and it will go up because that person seemed like he's taking interest. People would thought that Warren Buffett was taking serious interest before, and a bunch of people it just goes up and down with who they think is about to get in.
Well,
and that person's doing it. Oh, well,
and what stops somebody?
I'm gonna be rich too.
What stops somebody? Thank you, fam. I appreciate you for calling in. I'm gonna try to get out of here real quick, but I appreciate you. But and I'm gonna get one more call because what stops somebody, right? The thing that always gets me, if you are a capitalist, what stops you? What stops you from hey saying, oh, these people are gonna get in here, and then you drive, people believe in that, right? All these people are finna come in. It must be legitimate. And then you do that, you drive up the price, and then you get out. So that's part of what's happening is people are driving up the price to get out. And so you don't know, just because you don't know when or if the bubble is going to pop doesn't mean it's not going to pop. It doesn't mean that you can't win. It means that there's a lot of risk, and it's too much risk that we should take in terms of our investment. That's what it is. Nobody said, because the other guy tried to make the argument, oh, you're trying to say this is going to go away. I didn't make that argument. Be very careful when you debate people and they try to say you're making arguments that you didn't make. And because that's one of the things people do, they'll get you to argue a point that you never really tried to make. 775, what's going on?
Hello?
What's going on, 775?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
How you doing today, Yvette?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm a long-time listener. I've been listening for a while. I've done a little research on a lot of this stuff, and you are absolutely right 100%. About 90% of American descendant slaves do not have the money to play with these type of investment instruments, even if they do pay off. Let me give you a good example. Gold. Myself, a few other people invested in gold when it was $238.
Okay.
Right? Well, if you are ADOS and you invest a sizable amount of your savings into gold back in, let's say, 2006, knowing how much gold is worth right now, you be in a windfall. But guess what the problem is?
What's the problem?
We are too poor to hold on to that money long enough to cash in on it.
Hold on one second. I want you to hold that thought, fam. Remember the article I put up here some weeks ago? And they were talking about, probably like a week ago, actually. They were talking about, it was the greatest wealth transfer article, New York Times. One of the guys was talking about how he was still holding investments from his wife's mother. And the investment was going up and up over the years, right? It's like I'm sure it's a few $1 million now. And he was like, it's going to be his son's investment. So mind you, that goes from his wife's mother to them as a couple to the kids. So they can hold it for that long and watch it just continue to accrue and not be touched. You have to, that goes to what you just said. Can you do, now that's just stocks, and you talking about just gold. And these are legitimate investments, obviously good investments. So if the problem is if we can't hold on to regular, right, investments, what makes us think that, go ahead, fam, I'm sorry.
Well, most investments are long game. That means a minimum of 1 decade. 10 years before you can even think about cashing out. Most American descendants of slaves do not have that somebody else in the family. They need that money, and they need it now. Okay? And I use gold as an example because it is a very liquidatable investment. Okay? And the problem is we can't even hold on to precious metals long enough to give that inherited wealth to our children because we need to eat now. Now, when it comes up to dealing with cryptocurrencies, I tell people to do their homework because most people don't know. And we're living in crazy times right now. I don't know if you brought this up earlier in your show, but there's something that's coming on the horizon called a digital dollar, okay? And the problem with the digital dollar is that people are afraid that AI, something I did hear you talk about, will become infused with this digital dollar, and it will have a very negative effect on our Bill of Rights and our constitutional rights. But as I strongly suggest you look up the digital dollar. Bitcoin, I remember when Bitcoin was $2.38 one Bitcoin. Right now, one Bitcoin going for 26 grand. And like one other person said before, people are looking for the quick fix because black folks are desperate. We're desperate. When we go in there, we go, oh my God, if I put $2, I'll hit the big time. And not realizing that when we're looking at a fluctuating market, it's because we don't have that disposable income to sacrifice in the first place. I remember investment people were telling me, you got to make, and this is back in the late 90s, you got to make at least $250,000 a year after all your bills are paid.
Yeah, qualified. You have to be a qualified investor. You have to be a qualified investor. That's a qualified investor, yeah. And there are some investments that say you have to make $1 million. In order to be a part of this investment, you have to make $1 million. There are different levels of qualified investor. Yeah.
Nobody's talking to anyone like that anymore. And the problem with Bitcoin and a lot of these cryptocurrencies was, in the beginning, they were not directed at black people because everyone understood that 90% of the black community in the United States of America who are descendants of slaves don't have that type of disposable income. That's the whole point. Okay? Now, as far as what's going to happen with the government and cryptocurrencies, they will be heavily regulated. And because Bitcoin, they still have questions about Bitcoin, okay? But because there's so many billionaires who put into it, Secretary Powell of the Federal Reserve is seriously thinking about accepting it, but only as a type of bond. But now you're getting into the what do you call it? The stratosphere, and most black folks don't have the time to sit down and hit the books. We just say, oh, we want that money now. We want that money now. No. You can make it, but can you say goodbye to a large sum of money?
Wait a minute.
Years?
Wait a minute. You done said a word. I like to stop people when they say the word. You done made it, but can you say goodbye to it? Because you can make a good investment. CEO gets sick, all kinds of stuff.
You even left it. Can you do it? And the problem is that now you're getting into the psychology of black people, and why you're talking about inherited wealth. And inherited wealth, a lot of people who are not ADOS have. You go, wait a minute, he has that kind of money? Man, I'm barely making it on my nice wage, and I make what, 70 grand a year before everything's paid off. These people can lose that kind of money, and that kind of messes with your sensibilities. Because you're thinking, I can trace my lineage back so far. These people come in only a couple of generations ago, and they have that kind of money to blow on Bitcoin. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, and they have other investments too. So for a lot of these people, it's not just Bitcoin. They have leveraged that Bitcoin investment or whatever against a whole bunch of other stuff. That's another problem I have. A lot of these people have other portfolios, right? So if they lose this Bitcoin money, that's one part. The crypto investment is one part of the investment. For you, it's a lottery ticket. That's a different kind of investor. Go ahead, fam.
This is what black folks must understand, okay? And they must understand. The true de facto banner of your show should be, ADOS, most investments are too risky for ADOS. Anyone, especially working class black folks, who had a little money and they had a little extra savings and said, "Oh, let me go play the market." You lose your ass and you gotta like go through everything trying to get back on board. This other person, they have not, their lifestyle has not been affected in any way, shape, or form. You go, how the heck do they do it? Inherited wealth. That's their dirty little secret that you were very expert in on helping the black community understand. Because at some point you start to feel inadequate.
Yeah, the social engineering makes it is your fault, and that's the problem I had with one of the previous callers too. Well, you shouldn't be in it. No, they market it to us that way. Like, tell me the marketing is wrong, because that's how they didn't market this to us. They marketed this to us as a lotto ticket.
That earlier brother who brought that up were talking to black folks who trying to sell to black folks, and black folks or people who know black people's situation. They trying to mess with their ego. All right, and they say, "Well, I know you don't have the money, so I'm gonna dare you to put this money in. I'm gonna call you a nobody if you don't." You know, that's a psychology that most black folks use on other black folks when they're trying to get them to invest in something they know they don't got the money for. They don't got the money for it, and the person who hustling them tell them this. And even if they did get the money, how they gonna get it out? And that's another issue with Bitcoin that nobody really points out in a very clear and concise way. And in the beginning, when Bitcoin was $2.38, they didn't tell people how to buy it then, but they didn't have the infrastructure online. You almost had to be a computer engineer in order how to do that and do it safely. So I don't want to use up any more of your airtime, and I just had to get that off my chest.
I appreciate you. And listen, I appreciate the other guy who called in too. Everybody, differences of opinion are welcome, but we gotta just learn not to be as emotional. I get emotional sometimes too, but I just get fired up. But when we talking just money and cents and dollars, we gotta learn to just sit down and just have the conversation. I understand. So I appreciate you, fam. I appreciate you for your good words. Thank you. You have a good one. Enjoy your weekend. Listen, this is my last word. Listen, like I said, and I just want to drive this home because I didn't really say it during the show. But one of the things that happens is that other people have other investments that they're leveraging this. So they're not watching, they're not just sitting, even some people who are invested in Bitcoin, they're not just sitting around just watching their Bitcoin all day, because even if the Bitcoin goes away or goes down, that's one part of a portfolio, right? They have a portfolio that spans. It's not just, for the most part, I got a lot of money in Bitcoin. Bitcoin is my lottery ticket. We as Adolf, we have a lot of lottery tickets that we're trying to use to get out of this life. We have a Bitcoin lottery ticket. We have an actual lottery ticket. We have a kid that we hope is going to play football or basketball. We have all kinds of little lottery tickets. We have MLMs and all kinds of stuff. And I'm telling you that the only way that we get the real thing that we're owed, which is not a lottery ticket, which is inheritance, is through politics, because that's also a door. We talk about reparations, but we haven't even gotten to the space where we talk about ways in which we can use reparations, ways to force America to open up industry to us, so that, hey, we can, when you talk about pooling money, you got to have money to pool. Okay, now we want some, on top of our reparations. We don't want to just squander our money. We want to be able to have access to a bunch of SBA loans and stuff with some seed money. And we want to open up doors to make it to where we can have access to agriculture, right? And we got to make sure that we have those ADOS farmers. We got to make sure that we don't have access to industry because capital has run out. There's all sorts of things, but that government makes a way for. People go to government because that's where the money is. That's what people do. Talk about capital. That's what the capital is. That's why people go to government. Get a bunch of money. Every time there's a bill, there's a whole bunch of stuff attached to it, pork, whatever, with a bunch of money. We want a bunch of money, and we want a bunch of rights and a bunch of protections that open doors. But we can't do that, and we can't have collective uplift if everything we're talking about is the next lottery ticket. Listen, there will be another lottery ticket. I remember all these coins. Have y'all checked how many of them coins the people are talking about on this show that have collapsed? Like, people have talked about a lot of different coins. I got this coin. A lot of those coins are no longer around. They're gone. And nobody who invested in those coins is really having a conversation about those coins are gone. Are we having a conversation about some of these crypto people who disappeared and allegedly faked their own deaths? I brought that up on the show too. Have we had a conversation about that? Well, he was here, and this place is known for helping you fake your death, and then he ran around. Let's talk about these things. You wouldn't even know how to fake your own death. I wouldn't. You wouldn't even. And these people, it's a whole different level. But we gotta stop. We gotta start focusing on collective uplift and understanding that these lottery tickets ain't gonna be no lottery tickets, boo boo. That's just. But there's a lot of money made in thinking that it's gonna be that you're gonna have a lottery ticket. Y'all make fun of people in the church and they believe in the hell. Y'all make fun of it, but you went and put all your money in the Fifi coin. Y'all had a bunch of, how many NFTs is trash? Right? Did you know you painted a monkey? What that monkey did? Well, it's an NFT. Bet you don't understand how the NFT art. All this stuff. It's just another way to manipulate you. Right? It's just a manipulative thing. These are, come on, fam. Just come on. Just at a certain point, let's just relax. Anyway, that's it for the show, fam. It was longer than I thought it was gonna be, but good conversation by everybody. Good conversation. I appreciate it. Everybody enjoy your weekend, enjoy your Friday, enjoy your Saturday. We will talk again, speak again on Monday. All right? All right. Bye, fam. Oh, fam, I forgot one thing. Real quick. Voila. The ADOS, I got to get rid of this call. At the ADOS Foundation.org, we do have, voila, we have things for sale. We have shirts and mugs and things. So I meant to say that. I forgot. So please, if you want to get an ADOS Advocacy Foundation shirt or a mug or any of those good things, those things are there for you. I know some people have been talking about it. I mentioned it on the Patreon show. I have mentioned it on this show. So if you want to support, that money does not go to Yvette. That money goes 100% to the foundation. So if you want to support what we're doing, we're getting ready to lunch soon, all that kind of stuff, please feel free. Please be encouraged to go and pick up yourself a very nice shirt or a mug or something. They're very fancy. They're very nice. They're aesthetically pleasing. So please, you can go to adosfoundation.org and go to our store there, and you can find it. All right. Now, I'm gone for real. Hit that like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. All right.